Well, hello. Every gal needs a cowboy hat.
Scanning the room, you look for a familiar face. Everyone is a stranger. Your heart's racing, you feel nauseous. New plan. You meet 4 new people. Okay, 3. 2? You can handle 2. And then you think, I hate this. This just feels so fake. And before you talk to even 1 new person, you're looking for the nearest exit.
Okay. Crazy. Yo, who invited this chick?
My heart races when I walk into a room full of strangers too. Except it's not anxiety, it's excitement. I'm not thinking networking quota. I'm thinking, look at all these stories. And I get so pumped about talking to people that I don't know.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Gail Robertson and I am Chief Curiosity Officer with GailNow. And as that intro talked about stories, the power of stories. And I love stories because they are all part of the process that I use with clients and I use in life, which is sign up, suit up, and show up. Yes, it's so important to show up. And our guest today will be here to help us all show up, especially on LinkedIn. Now, this show is also shown on Twitter and on YouTube, but LinkedIn is an area of specialty, especially for people in manufacturing. And one of the things that I find in working with this area in manufacturing is sometimes that reluctance to show up, even though they show up at trade shows, they show up at sales calls. And in 2022 and beyond, the digital world, the online world, well, we can't go back. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So we're here, we're in the digital world, we're in the live world, we are in this society that now, well, not only needs to, but must embrace digital marketing. So now I'd like to welcome to the stage, dun, 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 the one, the only, Inga. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, a little bit of background too for people to know. Actually, Ingor does work with me as part of GailNow, and she also has her own business. And this is part of what makes this world so interesting, especially working remotely. We are not in the same place, although we have that picture of the promo was when I was in Toronto. We are in different locations, and yet we managed to accomplish many great things by working in this digital marketplace.
Yes, we really do. It's as if there is no distance between us.
Yes, and we talk regularly, and we're going to be talking about that, especially for any of our listeners coming from the manufacturing world, because in other areas, some other areas, they have already embraced social media. They know they need to use it. They know they need to use various platforms. And we're going to talk about why we're focusing on LinkedIn today as well, even though it's, there are other platforms to use, but LinkedIn, this is one thing I think both Ingor and I agree about when it comes to, especially in manufacturing, is that if you do nothing else, LinkedIn is your have-to platform. Like, you must be on LinkedIn and you really need to utilize it. So first, before we get started, Ingor, we're going to go to our studio audience and let's see who's checking in today. Now, I will also say sometimes Ingor is behind the scenes, but since she's the guest, I'm gonna step in and put up the content.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can sit back and relax. I'm not saying we'll do it perfectly, but here we go.
That is fine.
So we have first, wow, Katie. Whoop, whoop. Katie is here. She says, tuning in from central Wisconsin. So excited to listen to my favorites talk about showing up. Well, Katie, I mean, here is also a poster child for someone who shows up in manufacturing. Katie, we will need to have actually more of a one-on-one. I know we keep saying that, but I always feel like Katie, I just know her so well anyways, just because it really is like we just bump into each other in a Twitter chat, in a live show, on a call, and if anything from today, I hope anyone listening in manufacturing, if you can understand that concept, oh my God, doors will get opened. You will be able to get more sales because it's not that it will lead necessarily directly, but more doors will get open because someone will open a door that will lead back to help you. So we have Billian in the house. Hello. I miss you so much. We do need to get caught up on a call. Billian is amazing when it comes to, there's someone who shows up. Oh my God. She is someone who shows up. And if you need any help with getting a speech pulled together and also TEDx, I want to go on to TEDx, she is definitely the person to reach out to. David, the king of process is in the house. So yes, we know he's going to own that hashtag. We just know it, right, Katie?
Yes.
Excited. He said, let's go. Excited for a conversation today. Let's see. Oh, we have Katie saying, David Chrysler, Your Majesty. Okay, just for people so it doesn't, seem like an in joke. David Chrysler, everybody agrees in our network that he knows process like nobody's business. So we have crowned him with hashtag king of process. So, and we know he needs to own it. Hello, Whitney, another wonderful supporter who shows up and gets around at all these various live shows. Welcome. Pumped to listen to the conversation with two amazing people. Thank you. We are going to get to some specific tips, ideas, and how to utilize LinkedIn. So, and another person, Val.
Hi.
Hello to the USA Manufacturing Hour crew. Valerie is also someone, I bump into in all these different shows, and wonderful to see you here as well. We have, and Shannon, welcome back, Shannon. Great to see you. We have lots of, look who is here. Okay, we have all our regulars, and then we have someone I know that's a big Ingor supporter.
Oh!
Now, Osama is in a different time zone. What time would it be for him? It must be night.
It's 6 p.m. I think.
Okay, 6 p.m. Hello.
No, actually, no. It's 8. I think it's 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay. Hello, Sama. Another wonderful person that is just lifts up the whole energy whenever he's in a live show.
Yes, he's my brother from another mother.
Yes. I don't even know him as well as you do, but you just hang out with him and just and as he said, legends in the house. Well, you are leading that way, Osama. You are definitely a legend. So I always say legend in time, and I'm a legend in my own mind. Sometimes I'm on a roll today with straight. You know what's been happening to me today too? I keep hearing songs. Like I'll see something posted and a song's into my head. I want to answer by song. It's so strange. It's like, he said
do it.
I do. I've been posting on. Okay, we'll get to this, but we'll be. Let's see, Heather. So we have great people here in our comments. So thank you. If you haven't had a shout out, please drop your name. Just say hello. What this does also, it gives an opportunity for other people to say hello back to you, to see who you are, because we will talk about this. There are always lurkers, and I don't mean that in a bad way. On social media, lurking can be, I do lurking sometimes when I just want to learn about something. But we're going to talk about showing up. And showing up requires you to sometimes, you don't have to say much. You just have to say hello. And everybody's going to say, oh, look at someone new's in the in the house, and we'll say hi to you. And if you have a question, please drop a question in the comments. Okay, let's jump in. Now, as you know, on this show, we talk about my 3-step process: sign up, suit up, and show up. And we have Ingor, who is the networking ninja, who also does very specific work in helping people in manufacturing. She'll help others as well, but one of her niche areas is those in manufacturing to help get their LinkedIn profile set up. And I just want to say there's a couple of new people stepped in, so I want to say hello because Elizabeth, hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is someone who we first connected on LinkedIn. We have a whole story. She has a great story. One day I'll maybe have her on the show. She can explain, because she reached out to network in real life and then connected on LinkedIn and just had a whole reason why she was doing that. But we not only did some work, we've become friends. And that is a really good example of the power of the LinkedIn platform in conjunction with in person, because I know we're going to talk about that too. So, and we have another local person, Greg Drula. Hello, Greg. I'm so glad you said hello. Greg owns a local business here in Windsor, Essex County. So please, if you want to drop any more information, a link to your business, anything like that, Greg, please do so. And okay, we'll get to this. Usama says, how do I get started with live streaming? Now, is this
okay?
Is he joking?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek kind of, because he recognizes that we all have different ways of doing it.
Yes.
And I think he's also asking on behalf of other people that are watching too.
Okay. So Usama, I will not forget this question. We're going to come back to it, but because what I don't want to do, especially for any new people here today that are, and even people in real life, we don't want to jump too many steps ahead, because one of the things that in my business with GailNow, as well as what Ingor does, is we like to we call it, you have to first get your house in order.
Yeah.
Before you start saying do video and how many posts per week. And sometimes what happens, it can be intimidating. So Ingor, why don't we talk a little bit about what is a good first step? Someone is just coming on here maybe and they go, okay, I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm not really on LinkedIn because I don't know what to do. What is the first tip you would give someone today?
I think the first thing that I would say is we need to recognize the value of LinkedIn, and recognize, its position in the market. And then also we need to, with anything that you're trying that's new, I think we need to look at it and decide that we're not going to allow it to overwhelm or intimidate us. That's the first step. And, it's right. If you think about it, it's about signing up. Your mindset is the most important thing. And that is part of the mindset of deciding that we're going to use LinkedIn. Is you need to recognize its value. And then you need to tell yourself that, you know what, like, it's something new, yes, but I want to try it. So, and see how it will impact what I'm doing on the whole.
Okay. So you're right. That mindset, and you first have to decide that you are going to, we'll use this term, get outside your comfort zone too, because here's what I hear. Sometimes people in manufacturing, they'll go to trade shows, they'll talk to people on sales calls, they'll go knock on a door of a company they don't know. But then when we say, let's do a LinkedIn profile, oh no, I don't like social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say to someone that says, I don't like social media?
I would say then I guess you need to stop doing business. Because really, truly, if you allow yourself to be intimidated by it, it will intimidate you. And, social media is part of the future. There's no eliminating it. We can't, it's like, trying to put the toothpaste back into the tube. We can't do that.
Yeah.
It's the way forward, and really we need to embrace it.
I want to drop in here. I'll do a shout out to Greg Michio, because Greg he's working on a live event, and what he's done, and he's very forward thinking in manufacturing and marketing. He very much adheres to the whole digital twin, that you have an opportunity to also create like, a twin to your in person. You can do the same thing online.
Yes.
In terms of content. And he now is adding a virtual component to a live event. So they're going to have so for someone like myself, if I want to attend one of his events,
Yes.
I can watch via Zoom, and because I can't travel to his events, but now, and this is forward thinking, and it's where we are going to be going next. I've started to see this when they're like now an option of a virtual meeting versus an in-person. And if you don't have, I always say, it's like, it used to be business cards, remember when you said, how can you not have a business card? Now people say, oh, like I will say this, sometimes if I don't find people on LinkedIn, I'm like, how do I learn about you? How do I know who you are?
Yes.
So let's say mindset, get outside your comfort zone. So let's say we now have, someone steps up to the plate and says, okay, Ingor, I'm here. I'm ready to go. And some of these, yes, are leading questions, because Ingor and I have worked together with some manufacturing clients. So what's the next step that you would do? Someone has said, okay, knock on our door and say, I know I need to be on LinkedIn. Where do we start so we're not throwing everything at them that scares them?
And I didn't intentionally think of this. I just thought of it now. But the next step is suiting up.
Thank you for adding to that.
The next step is truly suiting up, because, what we need to do when we decide that we're going to use LinkedIn is we need to optimize our profiles. And so for some of you, that means building out your profile, starting from scratch. For others, it's, adding a good about section and making sure that your profile picture is current, or that your banner is legible. But, just like with suiting up, when you go to an event, you get dressed, right? So your LinkedIn profile is that part. It's the getting dressed. It's preparing for the, for being able to show up, right? Because showing up is the ta-da moment, right? Right? It's the Gail part of life. But, optimizing your profile is important, because we need to think about it like this. When you meet somebody new and they go and they check out your profile, are you showing up correctly? Are you dressed properly? None of us that are here will say, oh, it's a black tie event, but I'll go dress semi-casual. Right? So you need to make sure that you're suiting up, you're optimizing your profile, so that when people go and check you out, they know fully what you're about.
Now, for people that hear optimize your profile, let's break this down even more into what does that mean? Because that can sound like, okay, go, clean your room, right? Okay. So if we said that, some people might go, where do I start? So what would you say are just some real basics of where to start from optimizing?
So for the first thing would be, of course, it's that little circle, your profile picture. Are you showing up correctly? Like, is this the Ingor of this year or yesteryear? Right? Like, because at the end of the day, can you imagine like somebody checking your profile out and they see a picture that's 10 years old and then they meet you? They're like, whoa, you didn't look like this. Is this really the right person? Right? So it's your profile picture and then your banner. Does your banner have a call to action? Does it point people to a specific direction? Or is it a pretty picture? Or is it a picture that speaks specifically about your background? You need to have something relative, right? It just depends on, for you, it depends on the goal of your profile. If you are just wanting to show up on LinkedIn, I've recommended for my clients that are just wanting to show up on LinkedIn. If you're not that comfortable to put a CTA in your banner, how about you take a picture of the skyline of the city that you're in? Just so that, when people then talk to you, it can be a conversation piece. But really, truly, your banner needs to be that there. And then after that, it's your headline. And your headline is not just your title, it's not just your job title. It can include different keywords that you want to have in your LinkedIn profile. It can include your title, it can include what you want to be called. And I have to tell you, if you are going through the process of optimizing your profile, um, you have to know this. It's not set in stone. You can change it. You can show up a specific way. And then as you are figuring out who you are and how you want to show up on LinkedIn, you can alter it to suit that. And then the last part in optimizing your profile is your about section. Your about section is a piece of real estate where you can communicate who you are. So if you're witty, if you're quirky, I would say put that in there because you're showing somebody a little bit of your personality and it can make or break you. So when people go into your profile and they read your about section, and they find that you're a little bit boring, they can decide not to connect, right? And and the reverse is also true, right? The converse is also true. If your about section is interesting, somebody can say, you know what, like I would love to connect with this person, and they can reach out to you based off of just that.
That is helpful. We're just going to stop and go to some
Yes.
comments because there's some really good. That is, but you know what? And I know that it seems basic to me, but optimizing is like optimizing your car. It's optimizing your health, your body. Like optimization is key. And like you said, it is that suiting up. You have to get prepared because if not, you're jumping in and yeah, sometimes you're diving in a little too soon without being ready. So I'm going to go a bit backwards in comments because I do want something that Whitney said. Optimizing can also be about eliminating things. I still have my profile set up like a resume, but LinkedIn isn't like that anymore. Inger, help me see. Thank you. Inger, help me see. I just need to keep what is relevant. Great shout out again of what Inger brings to the table. Thank you, Whitney. That is, it used to be too, and we're going to talk about what LinkedIn used to be, what it is now. We're going to go through some stats in a minute because LinkedIn is not the LinkedIn of yesterday or years ago. It has changed dramatically. It is not even close to what, and people still have that in their perspective. So then Katie said, profile basis, profile picture, built to fit your goal, relevant banner, headline, process, and about section. Yes, those are all things. And it's okay to take time to build those.
Yes.
You may need to change them. I've changed my headline a couple of times. I go in and I'll tweak it, see what people say. So let me go back and see. Most of it. Whitney's dropping some great things here today too. She said, social's been here for 20 years. It's not going away. Yes. It's, I used to work in the media. I used to work in print media. this is key. This is very key. At one time, people in print media, high up leadership owners said the internet, the web, it was going to be a fad. It was going to it wasn't going to hang around. Okay, where's print media now? Don't be like print media.
Yeah.
And this is about evolving and changing.
Mm.
This is
Yes.
key about being on social media. And
Yes.
also what Twitter was, or what a lot of platforms change, right? So
Yes. I would like to say something actually, and I won't mention the person's name. They're watching, so they know who they are. But we were talking about this person had studied something completely different. They've never studied marketing, so they feel that they shouldn't call themselves a social media marketer or a marketer. And I said, let's just think about this for a second. So, how long ago did you study? And she said about, let's say, 10 to 14 years, right? 10 to 15 years. And I said, okay, so if you think about it, people that studied marketing 10 to 15 years ago, is it the same thing as now? No.
No.
And I said, exactly, because the thing about marketing, it's constantly evolving. And so don't dismiss the skill set that you have now. And don't tell yourself that, what, that's not a valid title for me. Because at the end of the day, social media and marketing has evolved. If you're doing it now, and if you're doing it properly now, guess what? If you're going to keep doing it for 5 years from now, you're going to become irrelevant. So we need. Okay, Whitney, I didn't want to poke daggers.
And you know what, though? I will tell you from watching what you're doing, Whitney, the questions you ask, the comments, you do not ever have to question what a great marketer you are. I have been following you, watching you, listening to you. So, and my background also isn't in marketing. It was journalism. I took journalism, which really journalism was journalism degree and $3 get you a coffee. But don't dispel this. Okay, I hit that by. But thank you, Billy. We do talk about transferable. Well, I talk about transferable skills. Definitely, you need to exploit those skills too when talking about on social media. And a lot of going back to manufacturers, you have all these skills. You know about process. You know about how to talk about what's happening in your world of manufacturing. So why wouldn't you just lift that up and drop it into your LinkedIn post?
Yes.
This is where we come to that screeching, because too often people are second guessing their skills, their talents, their knowledge. And Ingor, now let's go to, you've worked with some people. What's been maybe some things you've found when you're working first with, and we're not going to call anybody out, but I mean, you've worked with a few different people now. So there's been sort of a consistent holdback, I guess, when it comes. Can you maybe talk about a couple of examples and about how you got them over? Because let's talk about how you got them over that and what some success stories. So we don't want to always just say they're not doing it, because some people are taking some direction. Can you maybe tell a little success story?
Yes, but before I do that, can I please say hello to somebody?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, yes, I missed him. Sorry, I saw him come in and I was going to go. Thank you. Hello, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, thank you for tuning in.
Georgia. See, there we go. I have a song pop into my head. Georgia,
oh, you see?
Georgia,
That's me.
Georgia on my mind.
Yeah,
is it Friday? I don't know. Feels like a Friday.
Oh my gosh. And just looking at what Elizabeth says, she says, I was just speaking about that today with someone, always learning and evolving with new technology and creativity skills, right? Exactly.
And Elizabeth is that person too. She is the curious mind. She's
Yes.
transitioned. She's come out of the hospitality. She's worked. She's wow. She is a brilliant woman. Also has her own marketing company, Perco Marketing, and works with a lot of businesses here in Windsor, Essex, and she's shown tremendous success too. I've seen some of her success stories. She's done some great work. Thank you
Yes.
for that. Yeah.
Okay, so to go back to your question you asked, what are some of the challenges that clients that I've worked with have? Sorry, my eye caught the last comment. Thank you, Katie.
Hey, that's what TikTok is for, Katie.
Oh no, Katie, don't do it.
Don't do it.
So what are some of the challenges that clients that I will say, like, a lot of them have limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
So, they say things like, oh, LinkedIn is only for professionals.
Yeah.
Or, if I say something like share something personal, they say, oh, but LinkedIn's not Facebook. Or, and these are all beliefs that hold you back, that stop you from really showing up truly. And yeah, like, and a lot of them say things like this: I don't have time for this. That's one of the biggest boulders in that I find that my clients face. So the first, let me address the I don't have time thing. Okay, so you don't have time, then hire somebody who's a subject matter expert on this, right? That's why you work with me or with Gail or somebody that can help steer you in the right direction, because we can all do a lot of work that spins our wheels, but when you speak to somebody who really knows that subject matter, that's when you're able to really hone in and focus on what you need to do. And then when it comes to, thank you, sorry, thank you. And then when it comes to the limiting beliefs, all of the limiting beliefs, I will say you need to think about, what is your why? Why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Is it to build your community? Is it to build your business? Is it to get more clients? Is it to get a job? And everything that you're doing on social needs to tie into that, right? Um, and I'll say, some of us have businesses and don't say anything about the businesses. That's me. I've done that, right? And I actually just recently, now, like, I will say, like, in the last few days, I had to sit down and rethink what my approach needs to be, because I was losing sight of this very thing that I just spoke of, which is, what is your why? Why are you doing it? Because when you decide what your why is, then your profile, your content, your engagement all needs to reflect that, right?
Yeah.
Me, I am very much about Ubuntu and about my community. Um, you know, I, okay, so full disclosure, I got sick last week Sunday, and um, it stopped me in my tracks. I've been posting every day on social media for a long time. I've been showing up for a long time, and I was about to reach burnout. I got sick last week Sunday, and it, you know, sometimes we look at something and say, "Oh my gosh, like, this is an obstacle that we're facing, and we make this big hoo-ha about it. But sometimes that obstacle helps to redirect you
Mhm.
you need to do, right? Like, so for me, I got sick and I had to really like tools down, only do the essentials and focus on getting better. Which, by the way, I still am not completely 100% better. But I'm here because we need to talk about this. We need to have a conversation. Like I said, I'm all about Ubuntu, about community.
Mhm.
And if I only show the shiny side, that's not good because we end up, um, showing people the shiny side. They basically see only the highlights, and then they think that your life is perfect when they're striving to emulate you, which is not good because then when they cannot achieve that level of perfection that they perceive you to have, they end up feeling bad about themselves, right? So,
Well, can you just explain Ubuntu for people who may not know? And for those who don't know, Ingor is originally from South Africa.
yay.
And there's a term that you grew up with this, right? It was sort of part of your, part of who you are. And can you explain to people who may not know what Ubuntu is?
Okay, so Ubuntu has roots in ancient Africa, and it is a word that's very close to my heart, and it's a pillar upon which I base my very existence. So, Ubuntu means the very basic version means I am because we are. And the reason why I really believe it is because I wouldn't be who I am today if not for the various people in my life. If I just look at Gail does push me out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna just take over here and show them. You see this picture? I did not want to post a selfie. And with so much skin, none of you have seen a picture of me like this on LinkedIn. This is my very first time. But, Gail pushes me out of my comfort zone. She helps me show up. And Gail is all about curiosity too. So she helps me actually really be more curious, not judgmental. I've built resilience because I've seen my friends, some friends that speak about resilience and speak about, building that resilience. And it's helped me to focus and learn more about building resilience and become more resilient. Usama is about, strength of character, being strong. Usama, when I look at Usama, I see those characteristics and I say to myself, I want to be more like him. And I strive to be, right? Katie, I hope you're still listening. I know you have a webinar probably soon, but Katie, you have helped me see that I do have a place in manufacturing because you are the manufacturing hype girl. So Ubuntu means I am because we are, and I truly am because of everyone around me.
And I want to add in here because you said, yes, that I'm curious, but you are also obviously, Ingor does work with me as part of GailNow. And the reason for that is because Ingor, and that photo, also the reason I said, yes, let's use it is that I often say Ingor is the yin to my yang, which means Ingor is like reflective, asks different questions that I ask. And one of her strengths in terms of working with clients is that you are really good at listening and you're extremely patient. You're definitely more patient than I am. I know that. That's why whenever I'm building a team, I don't want someone else with my personality because that's like, I like bringing in people that are, and I want to say this
Complementary.
in manufacturing too. The reason you want to have that mix of people in your network as well. You want people in your network that will, and this is a good segue into who do you want in your network? You don't want to just chase after your clients or your prospective clients or people you want to sell to. Instead, what you want to do is build a network with people with similar values, build a network with people who you can learn from,
Yes.
build a network with people you want to hang out with. And then what happens is those people will help open doors. They will teach you some things. And this is where LinkedIn is so valuable, because we're going to get to some stats. Before we do that, I do want to answer, let me go back here before we go on. So let's come back to, we'll answer the why of LinkedIn. We'll talk about some of the stats and why it's important to build that network. And that's where Ingor is exceptionally strong at, is in that showing you how to do the networking, not just telling you it's important, and then how to optimize. And so I'm going to kind of go backwards on things. I'll just answer this. Greg, you said, he says, who is providing training on this important topic, please? Well, one of the person obviously is Ingor, but there are other people that are, one of the things I'm a great believer in is Ingor's too, is that you have to find the right person to work with, right? But Ingor does specialize in getting people to optimize. So very targeted on LinkedIn. Now, in my company, I look at more of a broader, looking at all of social media, digital marketing, everything encompassing. Ingor is more targeted, but she does other social media as well. But her focus is on networking and LinkedIn. So, and Greg, anytime if you want to talk about this, we can talk more about this, whether Ingor or if there's anyone else that's in the network that might be able to, if you're looking for someone to help you with that side of things. Let me go back here. We've talked about profile basics. We've got that. We've got, okay, I'm just going to have a funny thing that Katie says she sings random songs all day. Hello, let's give a cheer to the people that sing, just break out in song. I think I would be so great. That's why I thought when I watch a musical, I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. Sing and dance. Oh, no. I love Victoria's Secret. That song is in my head now. That's a story for another day. But if you don't know about the Victoria's Secret going viral, that's a whole interesting, fascinating story. Let's stay on track. No story. And then Ingor says, yep, people are experts for a reason, so why not hire them? I will say this, I've hired a bookkeeper that, oh my God, that is life-changing to have a bookkeeper that will also do some forecasting. Oh,
wow. Yeah.
And then Katie says, you know what? LinkedIn is not Facebook, thank the Lord. Also, leggings aren't pants, but leggings are soft and cover today. Everybody has a different view on it. We're not going to get into the pants topic, but and whether Katie's wearing them or not. Also, inside joke. I'm sorry, we shouldn't go down the road.
Sorry.
Go back and listen to a previous Ingor show about that. But you know what? If you want to post something more personal, I don't know. Like there's a scroll button for a reason. So I think you do you. I don't think LinkedIn's going to turn into Facebook. I really don't, because one person posts something personal. I think we're going to survive it. And I think we need to, if you want to wear leggings, wear leggings. If you want to wear jeans, just you do you, because guess what? There will be people that you'll develop in your network. Like you can have a leggings group if you want to wear leggings, so. I think it's just, and then she says, oh my gosh, I can just hear Katie saying, oh my gosh, I love this chat. Thank you, Katie. Whitney says, where's John Bellini? I don't know where he is at the moment, but I'm sure he's off doing stuff. Yeah. Katie says, dear Ingor, you're my inspiration, greatest support. There's no person I trust with my vision and goals more. Without LinkedIn, I would never have known you or any of you. Okay. Yes. And Ingrid and I, we met and now do business together and have expanded our business and, building clients because of LinkedIn and a networking group. And we had no reason probably that we would have crossed paths other than because it was during the pandemic.
Yes.
We worked together for a long time before we met in person. Ingrid's in Toronto. I'm in Windsor. And we have not really it hasn't prevented us from success. So
no, that's true.
Here we go. This is someone can make it out the case. I call it shooting squirrels. Katie, can you imagine you and I in an office? We'd be like, oh, let's go look that up, right? So yeah, curious mind is the greatest thing and the worst thing. So we are coming up to 45 minutes. So I do want to talk about, let's go through the stats. I know there's going to be a part 2. There will be another show talking about this because it's so valuable. and we want to pull in if there's any other questions. You know, I'm also in a manufacturing mafia group. It's called. It's a group within LinkedIn, and we share content and ideas. And you know, what's fascinating about that is when I was first invited in, I kind of looked around. I'm like, well, me? You're inviting me? Like, how did? And that's where, and it was a lot because of what I was posting. And so let's go to stats about the why of LinkedIn, because we do hear that people think LinkedIn is strictly for people looking for jobs. Let's go through some stats, and we'll try to start to wrap up in the next 5 to 10.
Okay. Sorry, I realized I didn't put one in, and it's one of the most important, so I'm just putting it in.
Google search one?
No.
Oh, I think that one's.
So LinkedIn is actually the most trusted social media platform. What that means is if someone posts something on LinkedIn, a lot of the time, anyone that reads it takes that as fact. They don't dispute it, they just believe it. So it's the most trusted social media platform, especially in North America.
Can I just add, because this ties into another one, which I just thought of as you were saying that. Okay, a really big search engine also believes that. The next we cue this. So,
Which is this: having a LinkedIn profile helps you stand out and is pulled by Google search.
if you search someone and they have a LinkedIn profile, it will come up. You can beat. It's an SEO tool. It's that when I found out that, I thought, if nothing else, you need to optimize your profile and do it well, because you're going to show up. I mean, people pay a lot of money to be high up on Google, and you get it handed to you on a platter for setting up an optimized profile. That, I think, that is the biggest selling point for making sure your LinkedIn profile is good to go.
Yes. And I'll tell you, so a while back, I decided that I wanted to just try this experiment and apply for jobs that were posted. Okay. And so I started applying, and these were jobs that I knew would be great for my skill set, that I would be able to really, get in there and help them. And would you believe that I only got rejections or crickets? And I was like, what the heck? Why is this happening to me? And I decided, you know what? Let me go and Google myself. I don't know what made me think of this, but actually, I do know. So when I was working in the corporate world, whenever people would apply for a job, the first thing that my colleagues, because I worked in IT, the first thing that they would do would be that they will Google someone. So that's what made me think, okay, let me go. When I Googled myself, I saw my digital footprint and I thought, okay. I don't think I should be applying for any jobs because my digital footprint is huge as a result of what I'm doing on LinkedIn. So,
and so that didn't help you?
It didn't help me get work.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Right. But the thing is, like, it helps you stand out. It helps you to be able to, build your community, for people to see who you are, what you do, what you're about. That's what LinkedIn is really. It really helps a lot with that.
I just want to clarify that, just because people may hear that by having large digital footprint, you're not going to get work. You're not going to get, maybe it's the type of work that.
Yes, it's the type of work. So like what I said before, when you're optimizing your profile, you need to look at what your goal is.
Yes.
And then tie it back into your LinkedIn profile, the content that you're sharing, etc. So don't have two different messages, right? So I'm a basically a nonconformist. I'm not in the corporate world. I'm an entrepreneur, And it shows when you go to my LinkedIn profile, it shows my digital footprint shows that. It shows that I have a live show on LinkedIn, that I have a community that I'm building. So if I want to go into the corporate world while I have this kind of digital footprint, it's basically speaking out of both sides of your mouth, which you can't
Yeah.
do. You need to make sure that if you're a social media marketing strategist, that your profile speaks to that, so that people know who you are, what you're about, and the value that you can add for them. But if you're a social media marketing strategist and you're working as a nurse and your LinkedIn profile says that, people will be like, well, why do I want a nurse to do my social media marketing? Right?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. We need to make sure that everything reflects exactly what your goal is, your why.
Yes, that is, we need to really keep hitting that home. What is your why? And that's why you sometimes, it's like, why I like someone, a guide, even if I'm going on a trip, I would like sometimes someone to pull together so I'm not scattered and all, because especially if you have a short amount of time, that's why often you do go with, like, I'll pay extra for certain things because I don't want to figure it out myself. I don't want to be going online doing it. So sometimes I'm like, listen, here's what I need. Here's my why. Can you go figure it out?
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, when I first started with Ingor, I wasn't doing as much on LinkedIn. I now do more on LinkedIn. We talked about what my goals were and whether I was going to post every day. And instead, what I did was I said once a week was going to be good. And now I usually do, well, now this show is once a week. And then I do another post.
Yes.
But you have to really, and let's go to the next step about how many people are showing up on LinkedIn, and that even if I do the once a week, I'm still kilometers/miles ahead because of this stuff.
Only 1% of users share content. So if you do, you stand out. And really, it's about deciding what your cadence is going to be, right? Because, I mean, there are some people that show up every day. There are others that decide, you know what, just once a week is good enough for me, or twice a week is good enough for me, right? And the reason why we want to, especially if you're a business, the reason why you want to share content is this: 68% of B2B customers do research online as a first step in the buying process. 68%. That's crazy.
Wow. So let's just say there's a whole lot of people doing research before they get to buy. And I don't think this is the suiting up. There are people suiting up out there. And
Yes.
then, as I said, because it's so trusted, people are going there for information. So
Yes.
that, I will say this, it's a whole whack of people. If you think about almost 70%, that's like over 2/3 of people are
Yes.
doing research. They're checking you out.
It's over 2,000. Yeah, they are checking you out. They are.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest stats for me about LinkedIn is that there are 800 million users worldwide. 800 million.
And not all of them are posting. They're watching.
1% are posting. That's nuts.
And we're gonna start to wrap up. Is there another stat, or was that the last? I think that was one.
Yes, and the one thing that I want to show is, 4 out of every 5 LinkedIn users are decision makers. So those are people that are C-level executives and higher, that are making decisions on products, services that you offer. So if you offer products or services, you need to get on LinkedIn. You need to. If not to sell yourself, but to share content and establish yourself as a thought leader.
Yes. And Ingrid, those stats, every time, I mean, we look at them and we know them, but reason we need to keep repeating them, especially in manufacturing. And one of the reasons, actually, full disclosure here, when I moved from, I was, my background is, I was a journalist. I've had a few other careers that led me into sort of the insurance and tech world. And then people often say, how did you get into manufacturing? Well, I got in because of networking, connecting, and, okay, little not so non-secret is that I went, there is opportunity here because manufacturing is still not at the place they need to be compared to where other industries are at, and other, especially, consumer products and things like that have realized the power of social media. And I will say this too, there are a lot of lurkers. I cannot believe how many people know about me for a long time, especially on Twitter. When I was on Twitter, I didn't even know them, and they'd come up to me at an event and they knew who I was. And there's been a couple of things recently that have helped with other work I've done. And I was just thinking, someone that I've talked to, it was a bit of, networking where it's actually leading to success, shall we say. And I thought about how do I know this person? It was through Twitter. We basically had connected over time in Twitter. So the same thing can happen in LinkedIn. Okay, we're going to wind down. Let's answer, how do you exercise your curious mind? And I will say this for anybody listening, we do have a question from Katie about creator mode, but I think we're going to maybe provide a link. There is some information online about that. Let's provide a link because that's another topic. We'll get to
and we need to get to Usama's question. Usama had a question about getting started in live streaming.
Yes. Okay. We're going to put some links in the comments because we are needing to come up and finish up before the hour. So we'll answer that in the links. And obviously, everybody we'll do a part 2. We will come back and talk about this. And let's do how do you exercise your curious mind?
I exercise my curious mind by asking questions. I like to understand the whys for, behind things. It's easy to accept that this is just the way that it's being done and gets done, and it's always being done. But really, why is it? Because there are some times that we will continue doing something because this is the way that it's always being done, but it doesn't always serve us. Right?
And I know one of the things Ingor does phenomenally well, she does ask questions, she listens, and she really gets into understanding how best to coach people. Ingor is an excellent coach, as I said, much more patient than me, whereas I'm like let's get it done. Okay. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to have you go into the green room. I will see you in there. And thank you. We will do a part 2 because we have way more things to talk about.
Yes, we need to talk about showing up on LinkedIn.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Well, an hour goes by so quickly. I want to thank everyone for coming out. We had some great people in the comments. Chrislyn, thank you. We didn't do a shout out to you. Thank you for stopping by. Yes. Showing up. So today we talked a lot about signing up and about suiting up. We spent a lot of time on the suiting up because it is so crucial to do the research, to know your why. And before you jump in and get overwhelmed, just think about where you want to go. It's like planning a trip. You've got to pull out the map. You've got to pull out, what food you want to take. You want to look at your route. So it's okay to start really at ground level and find an expert to help you. It's, often people like, I wouldn't try to do IT work. I wouldn't try to do bookkeeping. I've done that. I've tried it and it frustrates me. So I am going to send off. If you want to reach me, you can reach me here on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter as GailNow, Instagram as GailNow1, and on TikTok. Yes, I have fun there just for goofing around sometimes, and it's okay to do that. Thanks everyone for turning out today, and we'll see you next week. We have some great guests coming up, so make sure that you tune in and sign up, suit up, and show up.